Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the news this week. A lot of news to get it, but first, our sponsors is us. We just want you guys to click that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you like our stuff and you like seeing more of it, click the 2 links below. It's the Patreon or the YouTube join button. We're at about like 1,400 Patreons. Woo! We would love to reach 2,000, make that our long-term goal. Go out there, tell your friends about it. We're making new content. More should be showing up in March. And then, of course, all the angry reviews when games start to come out.
There are no games.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Get directly to the news. What do we got?
All right. According to sources, EA has canceled a Star Wars battle.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is the way.
This is the way to cancel?
Yeah.
To cancel? Is that the way?
What?
He said cancel. He's like, this is the way.
No, this is
That's
not
what
the way.
you just said.
Yeah, canceled.
This is the way.
Well,
that's not the way.
EA has had some hits with Star Wars games, and by hits I mean hit, and then they've had some misses, and then there's been a lot of cancellations. So EA wants to make sure that they are releasing things on a specific schedule because they care more about the schedule and how it fits in there than making quality games. And that's just the truth of it. They are a business. It just sucks as a consumer of some of their products. Yeah. And so we had heard about Project Orca for a while, which is an open world, think Scoundrels, pretty much, you know, who would have guessed that something like that would have been fun? I don't know, maybe if only we had something to let us know that, you know,
going to different planets,
it would be successful.
The underworld,
No, could not possibly be successful. And so it didn't fit in their late 2020 release window. They needed a game at the end of this year, and it just didn't work. And so what they did is they took everyone off that project and onto a different project. No one got laid off, which was the good thing, right? They got moved over to other projects.
Good.
But then we started with another project called Viking. We didn't know too much about it, and again, just wasn't going to fit in. They couldn't rush it out in time, and so that one got canceled. It actually got canceled like 6 months ago.
You're talking. The Orca was Visceral Games.
Yes.
Okay, and now another one was canceled. Here's the history of cancelization. 1313 canceled. Underworld would have been cool. Looked good. Orca, Underworld, would have been cool. Multiple planets, canceled.
Yeah. And the third game is called Viking, and it was designed as a spin-off of Star Wars Battlefront, open world elements.
Underworld, guns,
yes.
Probably canceled.
It was being made by Criterion, which, you know, made Burnout Need for Speed. I don't know why they were chosen, but, you know, cool. And then that one was canceled. So just another one that is just not getting made.
It's a sad thing that Visceral Games shut down due to their game that got canceled.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, I think that's actually where You Done Fucked It Up came from. Battlefield Hardline was one of their last games, and then they worked on the Star Wars game. They got shut down. The whole company got shut down. Just another fucking notch in EA's belt of companies they dismantle and destroy. And it sucks. And now... So they just have this fetish for canceling Star Wars games. You got a Star Wars game?
Oh,
Are you hiding a
Star
Wars game?
Easy.
Where you hiding that Star Wars game? Huh?
Nowhere.
Canceled it.
So they were trying to rush this game out in just a year and a half, and it was proven that you just can't do it. It wasn't going to get finished in time, so it was canceled.
I just want to point out that they canceled that Visceral Games one with headed by Up and Amy and like an Uncharted kind of thing. Yeah. Because they didn't think the idea was going to be profitable.
Yes.
A purely single-player game where you're in the underworld and you're hopping from planet to planet, you're doing different things, would not be successful.
I would give my money to them right now.
Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order comes out, successful.
Yeah.
Mandalorian comes out, successful. Shows them they no fucking idea what they're doing, except for when good companies try to come up with good ideas, and they just so happen to be hot and successful at that time to go to that negotiation table to say, no, we're doing it. And that's what Respawn did because they just came off a hit, and EA had to listen to them because they fucked them over with their Titanfall marketing, then they fucked them over with their Titanfall 2 marketing, and then they made a massive hit, and EA was like, yeah. You know, but Visceral didn't have that kind of power, and I'm sure this new game didn't have that kind of power either.
And
Criterion came in and said, we want to focus on story and characters.
Get the fuck
EA
out of
is
here.
Like, whoa.
No one likes stories.
Whoa.
It's dead.
What are you talking about? We just want to crank this thing out real quick. Just put a bunch of random, what is it? The Federation and Cleons, put them in there and go on. That's what EA was saying. We'll have a fight.
I'll play that.
Yeah. Well, the bad news is, they were rushing to get something to fill this end-of-year slot, and now there's not going to be anything there. So they cancel all these things that if they had just let one of these companies ride it out, something would have been ready for that period for that time. Yeah. And so now that we get nothing. Right now, EA has 2 Star Wars games in development. We are getting a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order and a smaller, more unusual project at EA Motive in Montreal, Canada. We don't have a lot of information on. So they're working on 2 things right now.
Mm-hmm. Which one's going to be canceled?
Yeah, well, not Fallen Order 2 because the first one made money.
I don't want that Jedi Fallen Order to be an actual sequel. It is because EA it just doesn't have the creativity behind them, and they're Respawn. Maybe it's Respawn's call to do. Let's just continue this. I want a different era. I want different things, different customization, different. Create your own character. You can't do that if we're just going to continue their storyline. I guarantee you, if you do Jedi Fallen Order 2, it's going to do fewer sales than Jedi Fallen Order 1. That's usually how these things are. The sequels have less and less revenue on occasion. If you play it safe, which is what I fully expect them to do, not give them a good enough budget to do this and that. But if you do something else with more ambitious ideas, then you could potentially go up.
Witcher 3, sometime. I'm just saying
Witcher 3 have to do with this. Do fucking Mandalorian. I would love to see a fucking Mandalorian game where you're planning hopping, you're doing the scum and basically the games that they canceled twice in a fucking row already. Okay, just Mandalorian, Baby Yoda. That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. That's it.
But I don't think that's what it is. I think the other Star Wars game in development is probably a multiplayer thing, since they've got their single player thing going and they're confident in the Fallen Order. But I just wish that Star Wars would be multi-licensed. They would have more companies besides EA working on them, so that we can get some competition, we can get some ambition up in here, and we can and they can show EA how to do it, and then EA has to do better on their next game, and then there's a little bit of a war, as we had in the sports games long ago. And then it shows you when EA gets control of just one thing, then they're stagnant and stale, and they cancel cool projects due to bad decisions. It pisses me off. Yes, they had one success, but that's because they had a hot-ass developer who knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that Disney's more excited about getting more of their IPs in more hands, once the contract is up, hopefully EA loses exclusivity and other people can work on it.
Yeah.
The big one that I want to talk about is Sony has dropped out of another conference. They've dropped out of PAX East, and they've dropped out of...
they dropped out of E3.
And then
they dropped out of PAX East, and they dropped out of GDC.
Yeah, GDC, yes.
Why did they drop out?
Because they are afraid of coronavirus.
In PAX East?
Yes.
PAX East is in...
Boston.
There was one case. I heard of one case.
Mm-hmm.
That's one too many for them. They're out.
Yeah.
That's it. It's over.
What the hell? And GDC, if I'm not mistaken, is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But Sony has a headquarters and offices in San Francisco.
Yes.
So they're pulling out of the city and their own headquarters.
They're already there.
Their own backyard.
So they basically are saying we don't want to send employees to the show to potentially get sick, and they'll get mad at us.
So originally they had planned to attend with demos of several upcoming titles. The Last of Us Part 2 was the big one, right? So this was really exciting for people that really want to see something from Sony. They've been backing out all of these conferences, not showing us anything about PlayStation 5.
Shit. That's why I'm mad at them. Like, what the fuck?
And so this seems, it's a serious virus, right? People are dying. We don't want to downplay that at all.
We've covered it, but it is a serious virus in China. It's spread to all these other countries. So far, thankfully, it seems to be contained here in the U.S.
Yes.
If it gets out of control, like let's say there's 20 cases in Boston, don't do it.
Sure.
But 0 cases or 1 case.
Something doesn't sound quite right. And actually,
in San Francisco, too, what are the number of cases in San Francisco? I don't know. I didn't look that up, but it's where their headquarters is. It kind of feels to me. Now, don't get mad at me for potentially suggesting
Allegedly.
this. Allegedly. It allegedly feels like they're allegedly maybe just finding an alleged excuse.
Because they're not ready.
Oh, for sure. It's got to be.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
They don't have enough footage.
Allegedly. It's a full
I
gameplay
think
demos,
that's what
too.
it is.
And so...
I'm sorry. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And so I think the mayor of Boston actually agrees with you. Marty Walsh questioned the necessity of cancellation. He states the potential for contracting coronavirus remains extremely low in Boston. Furthermore, he believes that canceling large plans like Sony has sends a confusing and potentially dangerous message.
They're worried that other people will fly there. That's what it is. From other countries. Maybe they're thinking other people will come from PAX. Will come to PAX East, and there'll be a big... Look, I understand it. Okay.
Look, it's strong enough.
Most of the time, when I go to PAX, I will get sick. There's Funk. Dell is destroyed. Dell's almost dead every PAX. So I understand it. Now that I'm thinking about it a little more, I'm starting to. But you know what? Get the fucking hand sanitizer, because that's what I used to get sick every time. And now every time we're over there, we have hand sanitizer, and we just.
You can strengthen your immune system. OJ just kisses all of our fans, so that's how he strengthens it.
Who doesn't get sick? This guy.
He also shares beer bottles with people. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense.
That's so gross.
Shouldn't do it. But I don't know. It just kind of feels like a convenient excuse because other companies are still going.
Yeah, it's still happening. And there's been conferences every week since coronavirus outbreak, and there isn't massive spreads. So I'm just wondering if they're
China or if this was Italy or if this was. Yeah, I understand, but over here. Yeah. Okay. Fine. But here's what I don't like. If you want to do that, fine. If you announced Sony Direct, hey guys, we're sorry we couldn't be at PAX East. We're a little worried about that. But tell you what, we're going to live stream what we would have had there. And you guys can tune in on the shore floor.
Jeez.
We'll put a little TV there.
Do it.
We'll just say quarantine area, stay 5 feet away from our TV because we need to come and pick the TV up when we're done. But they're not even doing that. You can't even watch it on, what the fuck?
So they're
maybe
not
it's still
prepared.
just not been announced. Maybe they're putting it all and they're just going to do their own show and be like, ha ha! Everybody come to our show.
Well, Naughty Dog is upset about it because now they're apparently going to have to wait till May 29th before we get to see any of that stuff. That's a long time away. I mean, you got to realize
May 29th the release date or something? Or is that another date where it's being shown?
No, that's when the demo's shown. That's just to show the demo.
Not with the release date.
Yeah, it's not even the release date.
Well, that's lame.
Yeah.
They need to show the game and
Something.
Sony Direct, Nintendo Direct, Sony Direct.
Yes. Well, we need more information about the PS5 too. So we need something from them.
How many flops is it? Is it 9 flops? You gonna let the Xbox have the bigger flops? We talked about the flops already.
I don't want the flops.
You gotta take the flops.
No.
You're
Take all 12 of those flops.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So
All right. Next story is about sexual harassment in the workplace.
I will excuse myself.
There is new legal counsel takes over a class action lawsuit against Riot Games. We touched on this a little bit. There's a couple government agencies in California that looked at the judgment against Riot Games. There was about 1,000 employees. They were getting humped. They were getting grabbed. They were getting they call cupcaked, where you fart in the open mouths of your employees.
How does it even happen?
I don't know. But it happened to 1,000 employees, and there's a bunch of women just not promoted because they were women because these people are pigs, and so they sued them. They won. And apparently, it looks like, according to a couple of these government organizations, allegedly there was some collusion between Riot Games and then the lawyers in charge that significantly brought down the judgment from where it should have been, which is about $400 million, to $10 million, which is a lot of money. And so now that there's new legal counsel taking over, now these are the people that brought cases against really well-known, like Harvey Weinstein, for example. They've sued Harvey Weinstein in the past. So these are people that know what they're doing. They're going to go after Riot Games, and if there is any sort of wrongdoing, I'm pretty confident they're going to figure it out. So these 1,000 employees may, instead of getting $10 million, may be getting $400 million.
Damn, Joe, you can sue me for $400 million for farting on you just now. No, me and Joe don't fart in public.
Okay.
We hate it when other people fart, all of our friends.
They just come over and fart.
Devin and Adnan, and they wafted on us too.
Will is the worst. You ever on a road trip with Will, and he'll go, "Do you guys smell popcorn?"
And then you're like,
"Don't breathe in. Do not breathe in."
That's why do friends do that to each other?
Because they're disgusting and they were
Yeah.
raised
Joe
wrong.
fucking hated, and I remember one day Devin was like, "Well, what the hell do y'all do when you need to
Go to the
fart?"
bathroom.
I go to the
Exactly.
bathroom, so you do it too.
You're always required
All right.
to.
We are the tres amigos of no farting amongst friends.
Oh, I had this. My grandmother would just pinch you, like if you ever.
Yeah,
none of it
same
like that.
with my mom. She's like, she would hit me. It's like, no, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
You leave the room.
Get the
What's
fuck
wrong
outta
with you? I'm breathing in here.
Joe, I owe you 400 million. That's a 400 million fart that guy.
You have to do it
did.
in the mouth though.
Oh,
and it's 1,000 different employees
Yeah.
before it gets
That's
that. So
terrible.
otherwise,
Terrible.
he owes you $5.
Mhm.
One fart, $5.
No.
No.
All right. Well,
Fair.
speaking of employers not taking care of their employees, Polygon did a little bit of an expose about GameStop. Now, GameStop is in a terrible financial situation. No one's buying games anymore. People are moving over to digital. No one's bought a PS4 or an Xbox One in a long time because they're about to be taken away. So GameStop's kind of turned into like these hyper aggressive sales rooms.
Car
Think
salesman.
like Glengarry, Glen Ross, these type of things where it's like coffee is for closers. Those are rookie numbers. All these things where it's like you have to sell this many pre-orders and sell these stuffed animals and make sure people are buying these things. And
Shit,
it's
man, they've always been like that. I remember when I worked there a long time ago.
The magazine subscription.
That was
Oh,
when they first
yeah.
eliminated. Were pushing the magazines, and I wouldn't do it. And they were like, "You need to get on program, Joe. On task."
yeah, apparently
You
it's
didn't
gotten
want it.
the people have gotten so they've getting so aggressive with it that employees are leaving and they're thinking that it's like, look, it's been bad for a while, but now we're hitting a new level. And a couple of people, especially ones that have just recently left, said like we are expecting like 1 to 5 1,000 stores, 1,000 to 5,600 plus stores this year closing. It's just because they still have tens of thousands of these stores. And it's like no one's buying games.
Look,
no
I
one's
don't
buying
go
these
to
magazines.
GameStop,
Turn
but
them
even
into
if I
toy
did, though,
stores.
well, even if I did, I get a pushy employee. I don't want to go. It
Right,
just
if
makes me feel
somebody
awkward.
tries
It's
to
like,
push
look, just
you
let me
some-
shop for whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop bothering me.
Yes.
If I want to get something, I'll ask you.
Have they asked
but-
about your phone? Because if you have your phone out, they're like, we buy phones, right? They buy phones and tablets and all these weird electronics, and they're trying to get turned into like used electronics warehouses.
I think the strategy that they should do is combine, not just do games only, right? So they're still the best place to get used games, as
Yes.
far as I know. So, and that's good when we want to buy, say, an EA game or a Madden, which I don't recommend you do. But if you do, go to GameStop and buy it used. Do
Yes.
not, support them with that damn franchise. And then, and then also they need to bring in more games, right? Because KB stores, they shut down. You can't really find toys, and our Toys R Us shut down over there. And, well, Toys R Us shut down. That's right.
Everything
Shit.
did.
So, but there's still popular toys and Fortnite toys and like fucking Nerf guns, and the
V-Bucks.
younger audience comes in and they'll buy that kind of stuff. And then the idea, we did a news story a while back that GameStop was thinking about doing more tournaments, more gamer-centric things. Hell, fucking board games. Put some board games in there, man. Turn them into put GameStop.
They have-
Magic. That's where the money's at. Magic cards.
Oh, that
board
kind of
game-
magic.
Yeah, that
There's like
magic.
a magician just like hanging out like, ah!
No.
That's how I would go.
put your
I would go.
I put your Xbox in this hat and I give you the finger. Like,
No, turn it into get our board games up.
I
in
think
there.
they have Fortnite Monopoly. Last time I checked.
oh yeah,
No,
Wonder
that's a
Monopoly.
board game.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
wonderful.
I saw Dragon Ball Z Monopoly. I was like, really?
Yeah.
Can we be a little more creative with the license, please?
No. People buy it. Okay. All right.
I got
Well,
another story I can't share.
more disappointments. Google Stadia. So we got some news from one of the developers about Google Stadia, and the interviewer was bringing up, it's like, look, Stadia didn't launch the way that you thought it was.
No shit.
There's no games. None of the promises were kept. And this crazy person just sat there and was saying, this is great. This is what it's all about, right? It's not about some marginal improvements. And this person is so oblivious and doesn't get why people are upset about Stadia. They're like, no, we're developing, we're growing. And the way that he was talking, there's this whole,
This is a video? What is this?
well, this was an article. It was an interview they did, and they had a write up of it.
Okay.
So he pretty much stated the same thing that Todd Howard said. It's not how you launch, it's how you end up, which is terrible because people were paying, what is it, $130. And now, because the free memberships are done, you have to pay $10 a month. that you're not getting anything. You still don't have 4K support. You still don't have any of the passes that they were talking about. And now you have all of these competitors coming forward, and this person just has no grasp. There's no apology there. They didn't come out and say, look, we didn't launch the way we wanted to, and we're going to get better. He's like, no, this is great. This is exactly how we planned it. It's like, what kind of psycho person are you that you think that this launch...
Completely out of touch. Now it makes sense how disastrous and how shitty they make themselves look, because they think their shit is great. They think their shit don't stick. They think it's great. They think it's going exactly as planned. I'm willing to bet that their numbers don't support that. And this guy is basically lying through his teeth.
Hey,
my job. I still have my job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? I got my job? Okay.
Keep selling it up.
It's great.
You're doing great.
Yeah. So Google has promised, hundreds of new games this year.
There's no doubt that because Google has so much money, Alex, that maybe, a year or two down the line, that Google Stadia can be what it
should
proposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, if NVIDIA GeForce Now can do it to a certain degree, I'm sure Stadia can eventually do it, and I'm not doubting that. But, by this point, even Stadia hardcore people are bailing.
Oh, they don't pay $10 a month?
There's like nothing. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to cheerlead this garbage?
It's really
and I still see, Stadia advertisements.
Yeah, lots of them.
They're trying.
I mean, they just need to get the games.
Even on our videos, I think I'm seeing. Hey, I don't control those.
Yeah. So, hopefully there was a nice Google Stadia ad that people got to see.
Before we talk shit about Google Stadia.
Hey, look, if they add the hundreds of games like they said they're going to, and they improve the infrastructure like this guy says they're going to, with the eventual goal being 8K, lag-free game streaming utopia that Google promised when it debuted.
Hey, when it turns into that, and they drop the buy your game twice, if it's a Netflix of gaming, like it always should have been, and it works, then hell, we'll be the first one to be like, hey, guys, Stadia works.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you need to think about it. We'll be the first ones. But right now, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not there. They still don't have family sharing, iOS support, hardware-free subscription options, social features, a consistent lineup of new games,
and overcharging
4K mode.
For games.
I mean, all the
Read
same
the
things.
shorter list of what they do have.
They've got Farming Simulator and like 7 different Tomb Raiders.
Cool.
Open. So, that's it.
No batteries. It's just... Okay. Well, there's batteries, but it's... Can't open it or service it. Anyways, Stadia.
So hopefully it gets better.
Stupid fucking commercials.
Oh, I know.
Douche Canoe. Do you remember Douche Canoe? We're gonna be laughing about this in a year, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna be the fools. It's gonna be the best.
It's gonna be
best.
You guys were naysayers.
They're gonna be handing out millions of dollar deals to everybody, and they're gonna be like, Angry Joe, fuck you. You said our service sucked. You don't get no support.
Well, I'm sorry for being right. It does.
Yeah.
Right now.
No, it sucks.
Yeah. It's bad. Well, that's it.
Oh shit. All right. Cool, guys. A lot of news stories this week.
Yeah.
Stadia still sucks, and we got to try to get some more positive news stories up.
Hey, I started with some good ones.
Yeah, I know. And then the last one we had some good ones.
Go
watch that other video if you haven't seen it yet. Thank y'all so much for supporting the show. Click those links below. See if there's something you like. If not, subscribe to the show. Hit that like button, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
Bye guys.